Welcome back to Wake Up with Mandy on Radio West. Thanks to Prouds Jewellers, and I'm joined by Shara Evans. She's a futurist, tells me about coming innovations every couple of Mondays. Thanks for joining me, Shara.
Mandy, it's my pleasure.
Now today we are going to be talking about a food scanner.
Well, this is something that's coming out very soon from a company in Vancouver called Telspec. And what it is designed to do is help us understand what's in the food that we eat. So what kind of allergens might be there, chemicals, nutrients, and the ingredients in any food.
Wow.
And the impetus behind this development is that the company's founder, Isabel Hoffman, has a daughter who has a lot of allergies to food. And she was having major medical problems every time she went to restaurants, to parties, or even eating at school, and it became a safety issue. Her background is both in the healthcare industry as well as the technology industry, so she put together a group of many different scientists to develop this scanning device that essentially allows you to take this little wand-like gadget, wave it over food, and it connects to your smartphone, and from there to a database that analyzes food based on a science called spectroscopy. And that's about shining light on molecules and then doing an analysis of what they're telling you.
Wow.
So imagine if you were celiac, you're allergic to gluten. What you may not know if you go out somewhere is whether there are any gluten products in something that looks like it might be gluten-free, but in reality isn't.
Yeah.
So you would scan anything that you have on your plate and be able to detect in real time the ingredients in there.
Well, I think this is pretty amazing. I do have some more questions for you about this, Shara. We'll just take a small break. It's 16 past 7. Thank you so much for joining me on Wake Up with Mandy. Thanks to Prouds Jewellers on Radio West. And I'm still chatting with Shara Evans, a futurist. Today we are talking about a food scanner. This is a device that will be able to tell you what is in the foods that you are eating. So really great if you have allergies or you are a celiac, keeping you safe when you go out to restaurants and other places outside of your home. But Shara, my question for you is, could this be something that could keep food manufacturers and packagers honest about what's going into the products that they package?
That's an interesting question, Mandy, and there's two aspects. One is how accurate is the labeling on food, and the second is could it be used to monitor the quality of what's in food, both from a regulatory perspective but also from a manufacturer's perspective.
Yeah.
So looking at labels, one of the things that Isabel shared with me is that the labeling laws vary from country to country, and in some places you're allowed up to 20% variation in ingredients on the labeling. So let's say that you're a diabetic and you have to be very, very careful about the amount of sugars that you take in. Because there's a great leeway in the percentage that might be labeled, you might actually be ingesting something with too many sugars over your daily allowance without even knowing it, even though that you've looked at the label. So it's available to help in cases where the label isn't specific enough.
And also, I think people are very conscious these days of the preservatives that are in foods. Would it be able to detect that kind of thing as well?
At this stage, they're not detecting preservatives. They're focusing on allergens because they see that as the biggest marker. But down the track, you'd be able to look at a range of different chemicals. And something that interests me is GMOs, whether the foods are actually gene modified. Oh. And Isabel has said that, yes, that's eminently doable, but that's not their initial market.
Yeah, okay. Wow, look, I think that's a great idea.
Well, if anyone would like more information about this, I did an in-depth interview with Isabel, and it's on my Future Tech blog at marketclarity.com.au.
All right, great. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.